In July 2020, a young woman was found brutally stabbed to death inside an apartment in Colorado. Her name was Ariana Wolk. But this case captured national attention for more than just the brutality of the crime. Ariana was the granddaughter of one of the Manson family's victims. And nearly 50 years later, her life came to a violent end in a way that echoed her grandmother's fate. Neighbors told investigators they had seen Ariana earlier that day. But she wasn't alone. What those witnesses described only deepened the mystery, leaving detectives with even more questions than answers about what had really happened inside that apartment. This story takes us to Colorado in 2020. But to understand what happened there, we have to go back nearly 50 years to one of the most infamous murders in California's history. Far fewer people know about this case, yet some of the circumstances were so disturbingly similar that even seasoned detectives couldn't ignore them. On Friday, July 3rd, at around 9:30 p.m., a 911 call came in from an apartment building on North Oneida Street in Denver. A resident told the dispatcher that just minutes earlier, a visibly shaken man had knocked on his door. He said he had gone upstairs to check on his friend and found her dead.
I went to Sonic, and then I went to my house, which is about Mountain Stakes, Toyota. And I was there the whole time until I just came back here, walked inside. The back door was open. I walked inside. I was like, hello, knock, knock. And I walked in and I found her in the bedroom.
Okay. When did you return back here?
I went inside, saw her, walked outside, and straight down here and asked her to call because my phone's actually in her room.
40-year-old Ariana Wolk was found lying on the floor of her bedroom, just feet from her closet. By the time paramedics arrived, there was nothing they could do. She had been stabbed nearly 20 times, with many of the wounds concentrated on her back and neck. The friend who discovered Ariana told detectives they had been staying with her temporarily, hoping to help her overcome a recent struggle with alcohol addiction. That night, Ariana's young son was safely staying with relatives. Earlier that day, she had been making plans to attend a backyard barbecue with her boyfriend. It seemed like an ordinary summer afternoon, until everything suddenly changed.
Earlier today, before I left, she was like, hey, you want to go with us to the park? And I was like, no, I need to go home. I haven't been able to change or do anything in 2 days. So I said, I'm going. And she was supposed to be going to City Park to barbecue with her boyfriend. That's the last thing that I know.
Later, detectives spoke with a neighbor who had called 911. The witness told investigators they had seen Ariana earlier that same day, but she hadn't been alone. They also provided a detailed description of the man who had been with her. At the time, no one knew who he was. But investigators would soon discover that this unidentified man could hold the key to Ariana's final hours.
So what time today did you see him? Was it light outside, dark outside?
Yeah, I was closing my blinds about 20 to 9, and I saw him. I looked out the back window, and he was there, and he went around the back part. He came in through the gate, went into the gate and round to the end.
What did he look
shut
like?
My blind
White guy, black guy,
He's
Hispanic
white.
guy? Black?
White.
White.
Another witness came forward with an even more unsettling detail. A neighbor who lived downstairs told officers that at around 8:45 p.m., an unknown man had been knocking on her door. He claimed he wanted to talk about Ariana, insisting that she had been acting strangely. At the time, no one knew who this man was or why he seemed so concerned about her.
He came downstairs twice, and he asked, can I come in and talk to you about her? I said, no, stand outside, talk to the door.
Right.
You know, and he says, well, I don't like the way she's acting weird and everything, talking about, he said she's going to do something to herself because she was, acting strange.
Okay.
He said, okay, he went back upstairs, but he said he was leaving.
Okay.
But then, like I said, half an hour later, like I said, I saw him in the back of my yard. But the dog was out there.
So that was at 8:45 you saw him?
Yeah, about 4 to 9. It's almost getting dark.
After telling the neighbor that Ariana was a danger to herself, the man claimed he was leaving, but he never actually did. About 30 minutes later, another witness spotted him standing alone in the apartment courtyard. This time, he wasn't wearing a shirt. Just 15 minutes after that, Ariana's friend walked into her apartment and found her lying lifeless on the bedroom floor. Ariana had been living alone on Oneida Street for only a few months. Shortly before her death, her on and off boyfriend had moved out of the apartment. Friends remembered her as a kind, generous person and a devoted mother. She had a playful personality and was known for always trying to see the good in people. But Ariana's family had already lived through unimaginable tragedy decades earlier. In August 1969, her mother made a horrifying discovery. She found her own mother, Rosemary LaBianca, and her stepfather, Leno LaBianca, brutally murdered inside their Los Angeles home. The murders were committed by Charles Manson's followers just one night after the infamous killings of actress Sharon Tate and 4 of her friends. According to investigators, Manson was unhappy with how the Tate murders had unfolded. So the following night, he led another group of followers in search of new victims. For reasons that have never been fully explained, they chose the LaBianca home. Rosemary and Leno were both stabbed to death, leaving Ariana's family with scars that would never heal. No one could have imagined that more than 50 years later, another member of the same family would meet a similarly violent fate. Ariana was born in 1979, a decade after the LaBianca murders. She was 40 years old when she died, just 2 years older than her grandmother had been when she was stabbed to death inside her own home. Once crime scene investigators had finished processing the apartment, detectives officially took over the case. Almost immediately, they noticed something disturbing. A trail of blood stretched from the bedroom, through the living room, and into the kitchen. There, inside the sink, investigators found a blood-covered folding knife. Blood was also visible on the faucet, suggesting someone had tried to wash away the evidence. As detectives worked to identify the killer, one name quickly rose to the top of the list: Ariana's on and off boyfriend, Patrick. Friends told investigators the two had planned to meet that day. They also revealed that their relationship had been marked by repeated domestic violence. Just 2 months earlier, Patrick had been arrested after another incident involving Ariana. He was out on pre-trial release and, according to investigators, had been living out of his car ever since. The day after the murder, detectives brought Patrick in for questioning.
Were you anywhere near the Oneida Street address at all yesterday?
Closest I was the Walgreens.
Okay.
Yeah,
What time was that?
2, 3 o'clock. Like right after that barbecue.
Did you have any contact with Ariana yesterday in person?
Yeah, I did.
At the Walgreens?
Yeah,
Was it at the Walgreens or another business nearby?
Walgreens.
Okay. Can you do me a favor real quick? Can you put your hands out like that for me? And then can you turn your hands over? Okay, thank you.
During his interview, Patrick admitted he had seen Ariana earlier that day at a Walgreens. According to him, she appeared to be intoxicated, so the two never went through with their plans and he eventually left. But Patrick didn't stop there. He told detectives that Ariana had a habit of trusting complete strangers. According to him, she frequently invited people she had just met into her apartment, many of them homeless or without a permanent place to live. Patrick claimed she would often strike up conversations with random people on the street and before long bring them back home.
The thing with Ariana is if she gets intoxicated, she brings home people.
Okay.
Vagrants. I used to be like homeless, and so like she would bring home people and complete strangers and just put trust in them.
What do you mean by that?
Like, here's my debit card. Go to the store. Like,
Okay.
No thought process when drinking about people taking advantage or doing stuff like that.
So how often is she bringing people to the house?
Frequently, like daily.
Okay.
No, it was just like friendly, like I'm trying to feed them, help them out type of.
Okay.
Patrick told detectives that when he ran into Ariana near a Walgreens, she wasn't alone. She was with a young man he had never seen before. According to Patrick, the two had met only minutes earlier while Ariana was walking to the store. If that was true, investigators suddenly had a completely new lead and a man whose identity no one knew.
Was she with anyone?
She was intoxicated and she was with a younger 20-year-old kid.
What do you look like?
Like kind of flamboyant, dark hair.
White, black, Hispanic.
Oh, white.
You're saying flamboyant. Tell me what you mean.
Like he just had like a gay or stylish haircut. I'm trying to not be derogatory.
You're saying younger, like how old?
20, she said.
20?
She was like, oh, I met a gay 20-year-old, blah, 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 blah. She was like...
Do you know what he was wearing?
I might have had a red shirt, but, I mean, I just briefly saw him.
Did she introduce him?
She did, but I don't remember his name. She met him supposedly walking from Oneida to Walgreens.
Okay.
While detectives questioned Patrick, they were also verifying every part of his story. One of the conditions of his pretrial release was wearing a GPS ankle monitor. Detectives obtained the location data and discovered something unexpected. On the day Ariana was murdered, Patrick had never been anywhere near her apartment. Just like that, the man who had seemed like the obvious suspect was cleared of the murder. But Patrick wasn't the only one who described Ariana's unusual habit of bringing complete strangers into her home. As detectives continued interviewing residents of the apartment building, another witness independently told almost the same story. The son of one of the tenants said he had often seen Ariana with different people. More importantly, he described a man who closely matched the same stranger Patrick had mentioned during his interview.
New faces, all the time. She got new.
That lives upstairs?
Yeah, she had new people every time. I mean, after, Patrick left, boyfriend or whatever, after he left, she had some new people, all minutes, different guys every day.
Did you see the neighbor at the house?
Yes. She was coming from the liquor store, I guess.
Okay.
And she had a dog walking the dog.
Okay. Was she with anyone else at that time?
No.
Did you hear somebody else or see somebody else?
I seen this guy that I'd never seen before. My mom said she seen him.
Okay, what do you look like?
It was a Mexican guy with a box cut. I seen him real good when, she fell down that stairs down there in the back door.
Okay.
Her foot was way up on the top. I thought he had pushed her.
Okay.
Her foot was, from the top. It was hanging on the top. And I said, oh, did you just push her? And he said, no. And she said, no, he's gay. No, that's not it.
The investigation took a major turn when detectives reviewed surveillance footage from East Colfax Avenue and North Monaco Street. At around 5:15 p.m. on July 3rd, the cameras captured Ariana walking east alongside an unidentified man. Her small dog was trotting beside them as they headed toward her apartment. The man was dressed entirely in black, except for one detail that immediately stood out: his bright red sneakers. Another camera, inside a nearby store, captured the pair just moments later. This time, investigators noticed something even more important. The man was holding a clear Starbucks cup filled with a pink drink. His left forearm was also visible, revealing a distinctive tattoo. At first, neither detail seemed especially significant, but both would soon become critical pieces of evidence. During the initial search of the apartment complex, officers had noticed a discarded Starbucks cup lying on the front lawn. It looked ordinary, but detectives decided to collect it anyway. Forensic testing soon revealed why that decision mattered. Fingerprints recovered from the cup matched a 24-year-old man named Jose Sandoval Romero. Suddenly, the unidentified man from the surveillance footage had a name. Jose's appearance matched the video almost perfectly. He had short, dark hair, the same tattoo on his left forearm, and investigators now knew he had been with Ariana during the final hours of her life. 4 days later, on July 7th, detectives brought Jose in for questioning. Unlike Patrick, investigators immediately noticed fresh injuries on Jose's right hand. 2 partially healed cuts caught their attention. Based on their experience, detectives believed the wounds were consistent with a knife slipping during a violent stabbing. Even more troubling, DNA linked Jose's blood to drops recovered from the living room and kitchen floor inside Ariana's apartment. Throughout much of the interview, Jose kept a pair of sunglasses on, saying his eyes were sensitive to light. Then, he began telling detectives how he had first met Ariana on the day she argued with Patrick.
And then all of a sudden, this lady and this guy were fighting outside of a Walgreens, and the lady started coming up to me asking me, like, are you okay? And I'm like, do I know you? Is that your boyfriend right there? Is he gonna try to beat me up if I talk to you? The boyfriend got out the car and, tried to talk to her, but she said that he had like a restraining order on her or something, or an ankle bracelet. And I was like, you don't need to cry, it's okay. And she just kept telling me that she wanted to put some type of drug in me, because she says that she does these type of drugs to herself. She says she puts frog poison in her body. And she says that she wanted me to go with her and do the same thing. And I told her, no, I don't know nothing about that stuff.
The one at Walgreens you're talking about is the one that's next to Frosted Leaf. Is that the Walgreens you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So you say you run into this lady and this guy, so they're arguing. So he ends up leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys...
Jose told detectives that after Patrick left, he and Ariana bought food for a homeless man they had met in an alley. He claimed Ariana was so intoxicated that she could barely walk, so he agreed to help her back to her apartment. According to Jose, he never intended to go inside. He insisted Ariana kept talking about something she called frog poison, a conversation he said genuinely unsettled him.
We went, gave the bum the food, and then from there she kept stumbling on the ground, and she had a dog and a bunch of stuff carrying her. She's like, I cannot make it home by myself, please, you need to come with me. And I'm like, Miss, I really don't want to hang out with you. There's something wrong with you. You have so much stuff, and for some reason you just keep stumbling on the ground.
According to Jose, he eventually agreed to help Ariana back to her apartment. Once they were inside, he made her a cup of tea, saying he was simply trying to calm her down before leaving. He insisted he never realized Ariana was intoxicated because he had never actually seen her drink. Instead, he claimed she was simply behaving strangely and that he had no idea alcohol was affecting her. But moments later, Jose admitted something that immediately caught detectives' attention. Despite claiming he didn't know she was intoxicated, he acknowledged that from the moment they entered the apartment, he knew something was seriously wrong with her. To investigators, those two statements didn't seem to fit together, and it was only the first of several contradictions they would uncover during the interview.
Let me make you some coffee. Let me do anything to make you feel better. And I started making her coffee, tea, and she would just keep crying, and she would just keep trying to fight with me. And at some point, she just started like actually trying to fight with me. And after that, I just kind of lost it. And, and there's kind of just self-said.
What Jose described as self-explanatory was almost impossible for detectives to understand. He admitted that he had stabbed Ariana multiple times in the back, even though the two had met only a few hours earlier. According to Jose, he had initially tried to leave the apartment. Before walking away, he claimed he went downstairs and knocked on a neighbor's door, telling her that Ariana was acting strangely. He explained that he wasn't asking for help for himself. Instead, he wanted someone to check on Ariana after he was gone. Jose insisted he believed the neighbor would eventually go upstairs, make sure Ariana was okay, and help her if she needed anything. According to his version of events, that was his way of doing the right thing before leaving for good. He claimed he wanted to distance himself from the situation while still making sure Ariana wouldn't be left alone if something happened to her. At first glance, his explanation almost sounded reasonable, but there was one major problem. According to Jose's own account, he never actually left.
And I went downstairs, told the neighbor, hey, this lady's crazy. I gotta go. Like, there's something wrong with her. In a couple hours, can you come and check up on her? I was like, I'm trying to go. I'm not trying to comfort this girl. I was like, I'm trying to go. Can you please go and check up on her? She's like, you see, that's the thing about her is we're worried and we're scared of her. And we don't know if we... She's like, I'll just call the cops because I'm not going to be dealing with her. That's not... I'm too old and this and that. And I'm like, okay, miss.
But according to Jose, he didn't leave. Instead, he walked back into the apartment. When detectives asked him why, his explanation immediately stood out. It wasn't based on anything they had heard before, nor did it resemble a typical motive investigators encounter in homicide cases. Jose claimed Ariana was psychologically influencing him, manipulating the way he thought and the decisions he was making. According to him, every time he tried to leave, something about her behavior would make him stop, turn around, and walk back inside. He insisted it wasn't because she physically prevented him from leaving. Instead, he described it as a constant feeling of guilt, as though Ariana somehow knew exactly what to say to keep pulling him back. He claimed she was affecting his state of mind to the point where he no longer felt fully in control of his own decisions. Jose even suggested that after only a few hours of knowing Ariana, he felt trapped in a situation he couldn't explain. The more he tried to distance himself, the more convinced he became that he couldn't simply walk away. To detectives, it was one of the most unusual explanations Jose would give during the entire interview, and it wouldn't be the last.
I don't know how she did it. She just played me. She pretty much, I don't know why she fucking told me to go with her. This lady literally picked me up from the street and she made me feel bad. And every time I would leave her, she would stumble on the ground and make me feel bad. And every time I said, no, I gotta go. Something's not right with you. And then she would stumble on the ground and cry. And she would just stumble on the ground and cry. And I don't know, she just played me. She played me. But I pretty much played myself by listening to her. I'm telling you, she drugged me. She drugged me and she told me.
As the interview continued, Jose's explanation became increasingly difficult to follow. His story kept changing. At first, he claimed Ariana had convinced him to kill her. According to Jose, the two of them had somehow agreed to it, and within just a few hours of meeting her, he came to believe it was the only way he could help. Moments later, however, he offered a completely different explanation. This time, he insisted he had acted in self-defense. He claimed Ariana warned him that her boyfriend and another man were on their way to the apartment to kill him. Then his story changed yet again. Jose told detectives that Ariana suddenly attacked him with a knife. He said he managed to take it away from her, lost control, and used the same knife against her.
And the only way to help her was apparently her crazy way.
To help kill her?
Yeah.
So when she's talking to you about that, it kind of you're telling me, and again, correct me if I'm not understanding you. What you're saying is you thought the only way to help her was to kill her.
She was gonna have her boyfriend show up, and then she called her boyfriend, and I don't know what they talked about, but she pretty much told me that we were gonna die that day.
Okay.
She talked me into it, and I listened. That's it.
Why didn't you call 911?
Because she told me her boyfriend and her gay boyfriend's friend was gonna come and kill me. They had this plan.
So instead you killed her?
She wanted to kill me.
So when you stabbed her, is it because you were trying to help her or because you were mad?
It was both.
Okay.
That's the only way you can get mixed up.
Jose told detectives that Ariana walked into the bedroom and headed toward the closet. He claimed he approached her from behind and stabbed her twice before she even had a chance to turn around. According to Jose, everything happened in a matter of seconds. He described the attack as sudden and chaotic, insisting he had lost control.
So you said when she walks into the bedroom, she's walking to her closet. Is that the first time you stab her?
Mm-hmm.
So she's facing away from you?
Well, yeah.
She's walking to the...
After she pretty much took the knife out and pretty much tried to stab me and stumbled, I took it away.
And then she walks into the bedroom towards the closet.
Yes.
You follow her into the bedroom, and then that's the first time you stab her?
Mm-hmm.
So she's facing her closet, and you're behind her.
She was running for something, yes.
After the murder, Jose fled the apartment and immediately began destroying evidence. He threw away the clothes and shoes he had been wearing during the attack, hoping to eliminate anything that could tie him to the crime. Then he disappeared. For the next several days, Jose hid inside his mother's house. According to investigators, he rarely left his room. Instead, he sat in silence, constantly watching the front door and waiting for the moment police would finally...
If you have enough thought to get rid of your bloody clothes,
Okay.
because you're like, I got blood all over my clothes because I just stabbed this woman to death, that I think you understood what you were doing.
We both understood what we were doing.
Hey, do me a favor, take those glasses off. I don't think you're giving us the whole truth. I think you're trying to spin it a little about this. Well, she convinced me, she made me. How old are you? 24 years old, right?
Yes.
And who can make you do anything?
Nobody.
Right. So nobody made you stab her.
Nobody made me stab her.
You decided to stab her.
Well, she talked me into it. You guys will never believe it, because how could you guys believe it?
Because
right?
I can't get talked into killing somebody.
No, but you can
People
get
can't get talked into killing people.
You are trying to paint this in a picture that makes it most acceptable.
No, I'm not
But
trying to
what
paint it
happened
so it's
here
it's not acceptable.
Is you stabbed this poor drunk lady about 20 times
She was drunk. I didn't know
while
that.
she was down on her bedroom floor. It's one of the worst stabbings I've seen in my 23 years of law enforcement. And then you're smart enough to get out of there, destroy the evidence, evade our efforts to locate you, and come down to the Springs.
Following his confession, Jose Sandoval Romero formally pleaded guilty to Ariana's murder. In early 2023, he was sentenced to 48 years in prison. Under the terms of the sentence, he will not be eligible for release until July 2055, meaning he is expected to spend the majority of his life behind bars. For Ariana's family, however, no sentence could undo what had happened. At 72 years old, Ariana's mother, Susan Law, told reporters she was living in a state of overwhelming grief. She said she wasn't ready to speak publicly in detail, explaining that losing her daughter was simply too painful to put into words. In the aftermath of the murder, Ariana's sister Rami stepped in to support the family. She organized a fundraiser to bring Ariana home to California, where she was laid to rest alongside her loved ones. She also created a trust fund for Ariana's young son, hoping to provide him with some measure of security after losing his mother. More than 50 years after the LaBianca murders devastated one generation of the family, another act of senseless violence left a new generation carrying that same unimaginable loss. Thanks for watching this story. The murder of Ariana Wolk wasn't just another homicide investigation. It was a reminder of how quickly a single random encounter can change countless lives forever. A woman who simply crossed paths with the wrong person lost her life only hours later, leaving behind a young son, a grieving family, and countless questions that can never truly be answered. More than 50 years after the LaBianca murders devastated one generation of Ariana's family, another act of senseless violence brought unimaginable pain to the next. Although Jose Sandoval Romero will spend decades behind bars, no sentence can ever erase the loss suffered by the people who loved Ariana or give her son the chance to grow up with his mother by his side. Stories like this remind us that behind every case file, every courtroom hearing, and every headline, there are real people whose lives are changed forever. And while justice may bring accountability, it rarely brings closure. If you found this documentary interesting, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the Detective Daniel channel. It really helps the channel grow and allows me to continue researching and producing more in-depth true crime documentaries like this one. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. If there's a case you'd like me to cover in a future documentary, let me know in the comments below. I read your suggestions regularly, and many of my upcoming videos are inspired directly by your recommendations. Thank you for watching, thank you for your support, and thank you for spending your time with me. This was Detective Daniel. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next investigation.